Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Horror Corner. I'm your host, the Dark Fate. Sean Erschen could not make it here this evening, so he sent me in his place. I have been sent here to discuss my favorite films to watch on Halloween. So let's begin with some of my personal favorites to watch on All Hallows Eve. I love to start off with the Universal monster films. Dracula, Frankenstein, and of course, the Wolfman. And then I continue with the exploits of legendary horror film and novelist Clive Barker, the macabre masterpiece known as Hellraiser. And then if you've gone a single Halloween and have not watched these films, there's a special place for you with me in hell. And that is John Carpenter's Halloween, the classic from the legendary filmmaker John Carpenter. And after I do that, I simply cannot resist watching the 1981 sequel Halloween 2. I hope you are enjoying this video so far. I know it's tough for me to live up to the standards set by my predecessor, Sean Patrick Erschen. Next up, I follow the madcap adventures of Jason Voorhees and his mother, Pamela Voorhees, with the little Friday the 13th. That's right, the terror of Camp Crystal Lake. And it just wouldn't be Halloween without a little witchcraft. That's why I love to watch films like Rosemary's Baby. Probably my favorite psychological horror film. And also The Wicker Man, starring the late great Christopher Lee, quite possibly one of my favorite horror film actors of all time. And of course, when I do that, I must watch the Hammer horror classics featuring Christopher Lee as the legendary Count Dracula. From Hammer Films, the awesome British studio that brought you films like Curse of Frankenstein, The Gorgon, and of course, horror of Dracula. Dracula. Get your fix of horror of Dracula as well as other Hammer Dracula entries such as Scars of Dracula and Dracula Prince of Darkness. And I simply have never, ever gone a single Halloween without watching the mad genius of Herbert West as Reanimator. And how can you not watch Leatherface and his unholy clan of cannibals in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, directed by Tobe Hooper? And then, of course, you've got the master of suspense, Alfred Hitchcock, in his greatest masterpiece of all time, and that is Psycho. And then I must watch another classic from the legendary Wes Craven in Scream. I'm well acquainted with the character of Ghostface. I have met him in the past. I am not really a fan of his. And then I must watch my favorite werewolf film of all time, and that is The Howling. You simply must watch that film, but if you do so, do not watch it alone. And how could you possibly go a single Halloween and not watch Freddy Krueger terrorizing Springwood, as well as Nancy Thompson in Nightmare on Elm Street, featuring the first film appearance of Johnny Depp, and then hang out with Jerry Dandridge, a badass vampire, in Fright Night. And last but certainly not least, this is an absolutely amazing film to watch on Halloween, and that is the horror anthology Trick or Treat. An excellent film. If you have not seen it, you must do yourself the great favor and watch Trick or Treat. Thank you for joining me. The Dark Fate. Tune in and stay scared.